Let's talk about. Let's talk about. Let's talk about pottery. Let's talk about pottery. Pottery. Let's talk about pottery. Let's talk about pottery. Let's talk about pottery. Pottery.
Here we are once again to talk about pottery, and it's another kiln opening video, and of course a lot of this will be hot still. I've waited probably now, it's been 15-16 hours since the kiln turned off, and it's still pretty warm. I had it propped open, but I think once we get down to the middle here it's going to be pretty warm. But there's a lot of small pieces in this firing. I have some new pieces, some slip cast pieces, a lot of magnets and tiles are in here, so it'll be a lot of small stuff, a lot of the same. And I'll edit that out and get as many pictures as I can of the pieces up close. So I have a few mushrooms. I sell these as a set of 3, medium, small, large kind of thing. Don't see any mediums. I think these are large. Oh, that might be medium. So what I've done with these is I make them in 2 separate pieces. This is actually white clay on top for these ones, speckled brown here. And what I found was the easiest thing to do, make them as 2 separate pieces and then glaze fire them so that this is raw clay and it's not attached with slip or anything like that. The glaze is actually what holds it together, so the stem and the cap are separate until the glaze firing. And that holds it together the best, and it's the neatest look as far as having all that slip in there trying to hold it together. I found that they were coming apart in the bisque fire, so that works out the best, using the glaze as the glue essentially. So I have a few of those here, turquoise one, another blue one. Put those aside. There's a lot of turquoise in here, as you can see. Here's a fish, 3 fish tile. And a bunch of turquoise frogs. That has been the most popular color for them. I have a few just frog tiles. That's done in textured kiwi by Spectrum, and that's on white clay. Pretty much white clay has been the only clay that glaze seems to like for me. So this is a cone 5, and that is a cone 5 glaze. So one of the new things, this is a mini Buddha. This is done by slip casting. There's going to be some larger Buddhas in here, hopefully at the bottom if they survive the firing. This is just a mini one, and this clay shrinks about 18%. So these really are much smaller as finished pieces than when you take them out of the mold, they're much larger, but still good because I can use these definitely. Did them in turquoise. I thought that would be kind of a fun color to do. I think Noel's Molds makes these. Could be Shino. I'm not sure if it's the same company or not, but they're pretty good, and we'll look at some larger ones later. I used the same mold to make a tile, Buddha tiles. This was actually refired because the face was pretty covered up. Still not that great. There's a blue one here, mottled blue. It's probably not looking that good through the camera lens here, but you can kind of see the face in person. It does show up. And these are going to be magnets, mermaid magnets, bunch of these. Kind of a lot of small magnets in here, so I'm not going to take too much time to talk about those. And the witness cones, 5 on the right there, and 6 on the end. I think it was a pretty okay 5. It seems to be about as strong as I can get. So this frog was done by putting the glaze on and then wiping it off. It does create a lot more contrast. People seem to like this better, so I might be doing a lot more of this method instead of just glazing it over. And that's textured kiwi again on white clay. Hopefully the camera's going to pick that up. It is a very nice glaze. It has little specks in it. It's green and blue, kind of a blue-green in most of it, but it does break to different colors. I like it a lot. These are all magnets, all done in turquoise. And this turquoise again is by Amico. It's in their Sahara line of glazes, and it's a cone 5. Okay, next level. These are, well, they're stuck together. I might be able to tap those apart. I took a risk by putting them together. But you can see one, it's going to be an air plant holder, magnet hopefully. There might be a couple more in here too. Something new I'm trying. And more frogs. This is on white clay again, but it's mottled blue. And it is getting pretty warm down in there. Have these pretty much every time there's a kiln opening. I have little turtles, so here's more in turquoise. Smaller frog tile. This is just a seahorse tile. It's pretty nice. This was done in that way, taking the glaze and just sort of wiping it off with a sponge. Brings it out a little bit more, but I think on brown clay it doesn't work as well as it does on white. And red clay done that way. This is Art Deco Green by Potter's Choice. And that's the earthen red clay. Goldenrod Shino on red clay. And that's using the method of wiping off, also wiped off here, to bring out the detail a little bit more. So that works out really well to get that contrast. Okay, next level, as we can see here, mermaid tiles done in the turquoise. These have been really popular. 2 different shapes. Another one of those frog tiles. We saw one of those already. Just a fish magnet. That's textured kiwi. Mermaid magnet. And that's tending to warp pretty badly. That didn't come out that well, but that's a starfish magnet. A lot of magnets. That one's pretty good. More of the same. Another little air plant holder with a sun on it. Just have to attach the magnets to all these now. Okay, I changed the camera angle to get a better view in here. Here is Goldenrod Shino on red clay, and I'm just looking at this because it looks very speckled, and I don't really know why, because normally that doesn't happen. It looks good, but I don't know how that happened. I get a close-up. There's a lot of specks in there. So whatever happened there, it was a happy accident. It does look pretty dark. This clay looks very dark. I guess maybe it's like a little bit of bloating started to occur. Probably because it's a little bit more than a cone 5 as we go down. But being tiles, I'm not going to worry about it that much. The glaze does get a little bit weird once that starts to happen though. And here is Art Deco Green on red clay with 3 frogs. And one more tile, just the Goldenrod Shino again. Okay, now we're looking down to the bottom of the kiln. So I can see the cones already, and it was a full cone 6, maybe even slightly more than that at the bottom, which is bad because there's a lot of cone 5 clay in here. Here are the witness cones. Okay, so now this is a cone 5 right here. That's an obliterated cone 5, a full cone 6, probably even past. So very hot at the bottom. I don't know why, again, because last time it wasn't, but I'm sort of worried because of the slip cast pieces that are down there max out at 5. So this is going to be hopefully not bad, but okay, here's a Buddha statue. And this is called Sandstone Shino, and it's a lot darker than I'm used to, probably because of the temperature, but it tends to come out a lighter brown. Still looks good, and it's actually much glossier than it usually is. So this is the larger Buddha statues that I'm doing now. And here's the smaller version, so there's the two together. And we have one stuck to the kiln shelf. Probably because the glaze, oh, I can see it, the glaze went right off of it because of the temperature. Still there's a chance of saving him, but here's a blue one. So this blue is a cone 6, which is probably why it didn't run, whereas that other one down there that's stuck is a cone 5, because that is textured kiwi. But the blue looks pretty good. It's a little bit darker than what I was hoping it would look like on this white clay. Here's some more mushrooms. The medium ones were down here. So this is a new glaze now that I haven't used before. It's called Pistachio Shino. Pretty light, and it's actually kind of glossy. I thought it would be more matte than that. It breaks to a brown, which you can see there. And this one is probably Art Deco green. Another small Buddha in blue. And here is another Buddha tile, and that's done in Sandstone Shino with Zen on it. So if I can get these apart, I don't know why they stuck, because this is a stain and it's not really supposed to stick. But of course it did, so maybe it's just because it's still really hot and it's going to cool down and break apart, I don't know. And it's just some small elephant ear leaves stamped into brown clay and then stained. And I think I used an underglaze for this, which is really dark. It's supposed to be a light green. So that is it for this kiln opening. If I can get that Buddha off of that shelf, because it did in fact stick and run. So I'm going to see if I can get that off of there. And I'll take some pictures of all this. Thank you for watching, and join me again when we talk about pottery.
Let's talk about pottery. Let's talk about pottery. Pottery.